realtor or something. So, yeah, it's on for sale.
It's a huge piece of property. I think they were gonna build housing at one point. School was for their staff. So they might have changed their minds.
They got the money.
Those everybody? All right, it's 6 o'clock and we'll go ahead and call this workshop to order. And I'll hand it over to you, Chief Ward.
Thank you, Mayor. Honorable Mayor and Council, we have a workshop this evening that's going to be covering the properties that are owned by the City of Rawlins. Community Development Director Lou Lascano will be presenting. He's going to go over a list of all the properties and then give you information on each property. We're going to bring up some pictures as he's speaking so you can be looking at what he's talking about as he gives you some details on each property. I'll turn it over to Lou.
Thank you, Chief. Madam Mayor, Honorable Council, Council. We've been compiling the information on the vacant properties that we do have in the city. There's been a lot of question as to what does a city have? And with the list and all this information basically came off of the county assessor's website. And if you go in there to their website and put City of Rawlins and highlight everything, it just looks like a yellow glob on the map. So our job was to come through and start separating these properties to the zones, locations, and what their use could be used as. So we're going to start, we have the index. We're going to start with the tract 1 Northern Edition. It's 50.014 acres over by the rec center between Harshman and the bypass. That has been, that's where our landing strip is for our model planes that they fly. But we do have 50.1 acres there that I think the city could utilize some of that property for either residential, multifamily. 2,178,000 square feet, which at one time there was talk from Murray, 10 acres up Harshman Street for tiny homes. The tiny homes kind of comes and goes depending on who I'm talking to. So that has been an ongoing project that I hope that it does come to light in the future. But as you can see on the screens there, that is the 50.014 acres currently that sits vacant by the rec center over by the trailer court, which is Green Acres. Like I say, we could utilize that as housing if we had a developer. There's no utilities on that property, so then there's utilities that be coming off of Harshman Street. And when we were talking with the tiny homes, we would be coming off of Harshman and Murray Street there in the corner. So that's probably the biggest one that we have within the city right now that we could utilize to try and sell it to a developer and try and get that little corner developed. At one time when the tiny home developer was thinking about doing this, they wanted to put a convenience store in there, which we would have to do some zone changing to accommodate that. And anything is possible. The thing we have to be careful for is spot zoning. That's huge for the city, so we don't want a commercial area in the middle of a residential mobile home or residential mobile home area. So then
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got a question for you, Lou. So this is also where that new Union Tower is supposed to go?
yes, sir.
Is in that space? What's the current usage of the airport?
The airport that's
The little
there now,
airplane, yeah.
It's all in the residential mobile home.
How much does it get used? Do we know how much it's used?
You know, usage-wise, it's hard to say. There'd be days you see one or two, but it's few and far between.
And the same thing with the hockey rink?
But to be honest with you, I don't think I've seen a hockey rink other than the gentlemen that were pushing for it when they came in and talked to council.
Okay.
I've seen them out there a few times, but that's very minimal as well.
So those two properties aren't being utilized heavily.
Yes.
So the only thing we'd have to worry about is the Union Tower that's sitting there currently, or is going to be sitting there.
And it's further towards the ball fields.
Yeah, it's right up against the back of that,
Yeah.
right there. Okay, right.
And
And
then
that,
also, with that area, we had also talked about possibly trying to get a developer to do senior living in that area.
Mhm.
So that would be maybe 4 or 5 acres tops for different phases for that area as well. So we have talked, when Mr. Sarbian was here, we were talking about either there or another area we'll be looking at here shortly for the possibility of doing that in that area as well.
and do we have water issues with water depth in that space?
You know, on the lower part and along the bypass there, I know the water table is fairly high.
Okay.
We have a big list, so let's write our questions down and save them for last, actually. Go ahead, Lou.
Okay, this one here is a parking lot that sits behind the church where 307 horse racing is. There's basically 6,000 square feet there that is a parking lot currently being used as that. This is just one of the vacant properties that is also in the C1 area. And the C1 area and runs basically from Front Street to Pine Street, and then from 3rd Street to 6th Street. Then we'll move on to the next area, which is 315 Fifth Street, which is also in a C1 area. That's 6,000 square feet, roughly 7,000. And I don't know if that was where the laundromat was.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how that parking lot came to light in that area. So with all these, this one here, I don't know about the one on Front Street, but I'm almost positive this would probably have water and sewer tied to it already. Just a matter of finding it and making sure the condition's good. If the city wanted to take an avenue to utilize this, I know that there's been talk as far as the remodeling of a hotel downtown to use that as parking, but that's just another option that's out there. This next one is where the Uptown Hotel used to sit. This one here is zone commercial C2. This would be able to be utilized for anything allowed in a commercial C2 area, which is right downtown there coming on Spruce Street between 6th and 7th. So this would be an ideal property for a developer to come in and do something that, you know, that would benefit them as well as the city. On the back side of that property in the alley, there is a plumbing chase where that slope is. And then along the north-south line, closest to the hole in the wall, there's also a plumbing chase there. So could that be used for another hotel? Possibly. But then we'd have to look and see what, again, the sewer line and water line conditions are. And our next one is 822 West Pine Street. I've seen conceptual drawings through Brownsville with this property where it was a triplex with parking in the rear. I know the rooms in the back were tore down. They had asbestos in them. There's very little of asbestos in the front portion, which I think we can keep it down to the 8x8 square tiles that are in the kitchen. But the rooms to the east of the main house there, them have been, well, mold and yeah, it's like a green slime room on that side. So that portion would have to be torn down as well. The next property there is the old Come and Go building. We did get an appraisal done on that one when there was interest in that to be purchased for a laundry facility. And there is a lease agreement that we currently have with Maverick on that, and it runs till the end of next year, December 31st. So I know Mr. Sarvey was looking at the risk versus gain on that. If, you know, the right amount, right dollar amount would come due, then if it would wash the lease agreement that they did have, then there would be an option for the city to sell as well. The next building's on Beechcraft. We do have a whole building in that area, which it's a fairly decent building. I think right now we use that for storage for some of our public works equipment, and I know DDA had some stuff in there, if it's still in there. We've stored light bulbs in there, filters. So that's another option for the city if they wanted to try and get that off the city inventory for property or keep it as is. I was just trying to get all the buildings that we did have, new vacant properties, which is, I think that would probably be one that we could probably keep and utilize for the storage of our equipment in that. Next area is going to be on the corner of Hugus and Pershing Street. We've got some vacant lots there. At one time, the vacant lots on State Street, there used to be a Project Reach school there. And at one time there was talk that if you would help build your house, then there would be a break. We did that with the ones on State Street. They put modulars in on that as well. And right now, this was the other area I was thinking about that talked to Mr. Sarvey on as far as assisted living. This would require a zone change. Currently, this is a residential mobile home, and we would have to change it if it were feasible to do assisted living, then it would be residential multifamily with the residents, depending on the number of units that we had. This one here is just on the backside on State Street, between State and Pershing as well. We currently have 5 lots there. 404 is probably the biggest one that we have. And this is where we were thinking that the assisted living place would fit more with the layout. And I don't know if the old Project Reach was on a foundation, if it was all taken out. So if whomever, if the city decided to sell this as well, they may find some trailers in there, that were in there. So it's one of them, we got this vacant land there sitting. I think it'd be somewhat beneficial to try and move this. Then we get to the Antelope Flats area over by the Rochelle Ranch Golf Club. There's several lots there, but what we run into an issue is the drainage that's on it'd be the southwest corner there. You can see somewhat of the drainage there that goes underneath the road. There would have to be, if we decided to, say a developer come in, they would have to put pipe in and channel the water. We do have utilities going through that area as well. Everything, with the exception of the water, which runs basically down the center of the road, everything is to the south of the road itself, with the overhead power lines, gas lines in that area. And this is just the Rochelle Ranch Road looking to the north. That's all the vacant properties that the city has there. When we were looking at doing the BLM barracks, we had one of the local surveyors come through and locate the property corners. So them are all in place. So this is something that, with the exception of the drainage ditch, and then to the north there, next to them trailers where the little cul-de-sacs are, that is basically swampland there, so it wouldn't be feasible to do anything with that. Let's go to the next one then with all the. Okay, that one there. Take it down a little bit. A little more to it than all the lots in there. Go down the other way.
Oh.
A little more. Can you go? The other way. No, we need to go to Rochelle Ranch. Yeah. Get back there. And go up just a little. Okay, so on this slide here, we just wanted to show council, this is what we have for lots available in that area. So we do, this is all commercial. At one time on the road closest to Shepherd's Car Wash, which is gonna be lot 1. We thought we had an interested party in that piece. That fell through with the drainage ditch in the back. They were looking for extra parking, so this is one of them deals where we get a developer that wants to come in and put, say, an Arby's. if we could possibly realign these lots to where one lot would encompass the first one and part of the second one for the parking. I think that would be an easy way to try and move these lots, or if it's something for the, golf course, whatever we want to do to make that. But I just want council to be aware that we do have swampland up towards the top there in that corner. And we do have a drainage ditch that comes from basically the west end there and then comes through that and heads towards that pond that's to the, it would be the northeast. So there's a lot of potential in this area with the exception of the drainage ditch. So this area here, it took me a little bit to see where this one was. I don't know if this was part of the original city property at one time, but this is everything to the north of High Street. I don't know if anything really up there could be developed, but that's all that property that we have just sitting up
The
north of High.
uplift?
Yeah. I don't even know how you would gain access to that, maybe from the top, but it's pretty rocky towards the high end of it. Yep. So this little corner here is on Adams Street where the railroad comes in. That one there is same thing, it's a residential mobile home. Got 13,000 square feet. So you could probably get 2 lots out of that corner for residential mobile home. The access to the north on that, that's for the railroad. So this is another one that when I zoomed in on this, I had to take a double look at it, because I didn't think we had anything in that area. And we have another area just on the other side of Washington Street that the city owns property over there, just one lot, but how it got intermingled with these locations is beyond me. And this one here, this is on Bennett Street. This is just where Bennett and State Street come in. It's that little corner piece there. At one time there was trailers to the northeast. And there was this one here, I believe when, this is one that we acquired from the county. I know Tom was talking to the county on this and they gave it to us. I have no idea, but there it is. This was another one of the properties that, after looking further into it, I don't know if this was acquired when they put the water tank up on top, but it seems like it's separate parcels from the access to Pine Cliff Apartments and behind the Quality Inn. To the right there. There's 2 separate parcels on that, and where the little square piece is at the bottom is shaded. They used to be where Rocky Mountain Power had their towers, and I think there was a transfer station there at one time. So how that's separated up, I don't know how that came to be city property, but that's another one that it's kind of got me baffled on how we acquired that. It was way before my time. So we looked at, this was another one that we looked at as far as, we have 6.5 acres over by the sewer shop on South Side, right off of the underpass, which takes us up almost to peak asphalt. And that's another section of property that, you know, if the city wanted to do something with that, we still keep our sewer shop property, subdivide that, and make some use out of that. This one here is, this property here is where they were gonna do the connector road to Miller Davis Street. So that came up as our property, which was vacant at the time. And we have that whole area there that, 24 acres by our water tank and our Union Tower. This is another one that would be hard to access, but we have that sitting up there that, you know, maybe somebody could do something within that area. It's a pretty good chunk of land there when you look at it from the top looking down on it.
Hey Lou, on some of these properties, is there water and sewer connections over there like this 20 acres?
Some of them, like 619 West Spruce, I'm almost positive they would have it. But these areas here, I would say no.
No, so we'd have to tie in somewhere.
Yes.
Right, that's-
And this one here, I just wanted to show this one. We have two lots just east, 2.5 lots east of where the park is. I don't know if that was dedicated park at one time, but there's 2.5 lots just east of the park on that end. This one here is one that it's kind of out there by itself. This shows on the assessor site that this is city property. How it's separated into city property. I know the person that owns that trailer there, and I don't know if he knows that he has this fence right there where the city property is. And then this area here, this is the BLM area between Donnell and Highway 71, which is, we're kind of limited to what we can do on that with the BLM.
Which section is it?
Just right off of Jackson Street, coming off the overpass
Okay,
to the west.
you said that's BLM.
Yes. Well, the city, it's the city's, but the BLM has restrictions on it.
Could you do affordable housing there, because affordable housing,
I think,
those areas that
I think that would be a conversation that we have to have with BLM legal to see if that's feasible.
because what I read with the state statute is that there's a possibility, as long as it's affordable.
Yeah, and like I say, that the BLM has their hands tied in that one, even though it's the city's. Here's what you can do, here's what you can't do. So that's where we're at with that piece of property.
It says about 19. We are going to save all the questions till the end, though, because he has a lot of lists to get through. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Just curious.
Keep going up a little bit. Bring that picture down so I can see it.
This
The
one?
other way.
Go the other way?
Yep. Okay, go up. This, yeah, so,
Oh, this one is-
yeah, that goes with the one we're looking at. This piece here, this used to be an access to the backside of Neiman Street. I know Miss Joanne Lawrence had an old barn on the backside, and I think that's the way she would access it. But the city does own that property as well, which is sitting vacant between two residents there. Keep going. So that's what that would look like on the backside off of Neiman Street. So to me, when we were up there looking at this is just an access for the people on the backside to come through and tie into Neiman Street. So this is also vacant, city-owned property. And this one here, this is the Lawrence property. I know when Mr. Sarby was around, we were talking about doing a rezone on that, where we could almost put residential, mobile homes, residential units in that area facing Spruce Street. And I know I've talked to a gentleman on maybe buying the old trailer court that was there and encompassing part of that part of Spruce Street. The road there is a right of way. So where that black line is, next to the yellow one there where it says East Spruce, right there, just go to that property line, take it straight across, and utilize that area for some homes. And then we're still undecided what we're gonna do with the top portion of that. I know there's been interest from the dealerships. Mr. Sarver was telling me about that they might be interested in acquiring some of that land for their use. But it, depending on what we do, if we put homes, we'll have to rezone that as well. Right now on the trailer court, we have residential R75. And if you go across the road to Harshman, it's R75 as well, but you have a trailer that sits in there. That, who knows when that went in, but that should have never happened either. So, and if you were to move that trailer out, the lot's way too small to put anything else back in. So we've looked at that with the gentleman that just bought that. I told him if they were to readjust the corner lot up there, I think they took his part of the extra square footage that he needed to have 7,500 square feet, so he's gonna be that much short to do anything with it. So he's just gonna fix that trailer up and try and make that work for it. But yeah, I know the last property, we're working on that through community development with the staff there as well, trying to get that cleaned up and moving forward with that portion of it. think that's the last one I had on that for the Lawrence property. I know there's probably questions that
Yes.
we would like to get answered.
Who wants to go first? Councilmember Patterson?
The property on 1115 North Higley, the old come and go, is Maverick seem interested in breaking the lease?
If they get somebody that's interested in talking to them, they'd be willing to walk away from that.
Would it be better for the city just to let go of that piece of property?
Well, it would be, but then we look at the lease that they have till the end of the 26th year and see what the risk versus gain. I know we did an appraisal on that property, like I said, and we still have to monitor where the leakage underground was with the tanks. So whoever purchases that, that goes with that property.
Councilmember Elliott?
How were these properties acquired?
Well, I know 822 West Pine and 619 West Spruce. The gentleman that owns the Sunset, the Budget Inn, the Express Inn, when they tore down the 622 West Spruce, he just gave that to the city because there was an $80,000 lien on that. So to walk away from that, theoretically, that's what was done. 822 was in the same area. I think there was, don't quote me on this, but 60 plus on that. I'd have to look at the files to see exactly what that lien was, just to get away from having to pay that money for the cleanup and the dangerous conditions.
So if these were sold greater than the value of the liens, that money would then go to the original owner, the person that lost it to the city?
I think, and legal's not here. Oh, yeah, she is. I think that would be a question for her.
Okay.
As these are owned by the city, they've already been essentially forfeited over instead of a lien proceeding. Rather than a lien proceeding, the owner wrote these over to the city, so the city owns these. There is still technically a lien on these. There are options as to how to dispose of them and to, address the lien issue. And it really depends on what the focus is. Is it disposing of the property and getting the city back to where it was and made flush in terms of funds, or is it more about beautification? And so there's different options depending on which perspective and which path is taken.
Were the majority of these acquired due to liens being put
Not-
on the property?
No, not all of them. There's some, interestingly, some have been, some have been abandoned properties in regard to the county, that the county, rather than the county assuming them and then being on the tax rolls, the county has conveyed them over to the city. There are, I think, 5 parcels on Southside. I can't remember exactly the street address, but those were actually conveyed from the church, from St. Joseph's Church. It was in exchange for the city paving their parking lot.
Okay.
And there had been initial discussion back in, I think, 2013 or 15, I apologize, I don't know the exact date, about using those to build low-income housing to maybe make a multi-unit property on those parcels.
There was property given also to the city from the county behind the county jail. Is that in here also?
There actually isn't. There is property that the city is allowed to use, but that property is owned by the county.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Mayor Garner?
The property at 1115 North Higley, so you mentioned the monitoring is ongoing. When their lease is up, we to then take over the monitoring, correct?
Yes.
Do you happen to know what the cost of that is? Oh, she has an answer. Go ahead.
Thank you. The monitoring, it is part of a DEQ process, and there's an insurance, and currently that is handled under, Maverick has assumed that insurance, and they have since they've been running that building. But once the city assumes control over that property again, the city will then, in the interim, depending on what happens, the city will continue that insurance program through the DEQ. I believe it's like $200 or $250 a year or something like that. It's nominal, but what they do is they continue the monitoring until it is remediated to as best that they can.
Okay, because I didn't know how much that was gonna be, because I was gonna ask if we should look at mitigating it, but that seems pretty low for if it's yearly, so, thank you.
Councilmember Lumen.
Is there any plan on place that ranks all these properties? These are 26 properties, as far as focusing on the top 5 that we want to sell, what we want to sell them for, how that fits into our grand plan.
I think with my number one pick, and this is just me, would be 619 West Spruce. It's on a main thoroughfare. It has potential, and in order to get actual values on these properties, I think the city would have to go out of the city, Carbon County. The gentleman we had do the come and go was from Buffalo. So to keep everything straight, I think that's the same route we would have to take to get these properties evaluated to see what the actual market is for them now.
So is there a written process anywhere that tells us how a city is supposed to sell their properties?
Yes, there is a statutory process that sets forth the appraisal process and all of those types of factors. There is some leeway and some discretion in how things are sold depending on the circumstances, but there is a set process through the statutes.
So I know if I sell my house, the person buying it pays for the approval, but that doesn't work with city property. We have to get the appraisal first?
It's something that we would need to get the appraisal first, but we would build it into the purchase price. It would be one of those costs, like closing costs on a house or on a property.
You mentioned that one. Do you have another 4 that, or have you sat down and done that?
To me, I personally would like to see, it seems like, and I know people are going to take this the wrong way, but the East End is where we need to start focusing on.
Okay.
I know with the Brownsville grant, we're looking at doing the West End coming this way, but I think for future development, I think that we concentrate on the East End. So going into the area right off Airport Road, try and start developing that area a little bit, and try to get our closed down Burger King, try to get somebody in that area. I know the lot next to it, between that and the Fairfield, astronomical for the price they want per square foot on that lot. So that's a game that we're running up against on the community development side to try and to get businesses to come in. We upstairs have an open door policy, so if anybody has any ideas, if they know of connections that we could make to try and lure these companies in, we'd be happy to sit down and visit with them.
So has our position been waiting for people to come to us?
No, we've actually been looking, Councilman. We have, when Arby's was coming in, a lot of that was held up on our end prior to me, but I want to make that clear. But yeah, that, and I know Pam and I have talked about the Arby's that was going to come in, and I have sent a couple emails out with no response. So I don't know if they were just frustrated with previous.
Yeah.
But, like I said, our doors are open to anybody that would like to come and visit with us. One thing I would, what I personally would like to see that, and I know that it's probably down the line a ways, but work with the developers. If we have the sewer tap, we have the water tap, or we have suppression system, let's see if we can help them out a little bit with them costs to try and get that business in. And over the year, say 5-year time, that their business is going really good, then we add that in our contract with them somewhere. I think that would be the smart thing to do with the city side, to work with developers, and here's what we're willing to do for you, and see what we can come up with. I know I dealt with the guy from Chicago here last week, and he was thinking that there's grants out there that would help him put the infrastructure and put roads in. And we visited with WCDA. They threw every possibility his way, and he told me he would be in touch with me. We could get him in. He plans on doing it on the east end of the TA, put housing in there. He's even willing to build a building for whatever business wants to go in there, restaurant-wise. So we have been, we've been trying really hard. Even when I went to Brownsville and Chicago, I was out there pushing the city of Rawlins, so it does get pushed around.
Council members,
Assume you're advertising, and I don't know how you advertise for businesses and homes, and however you can do that.
You know, and it's strange, because like I said, we had the developer from Chicago that wanted to come down, because they did a project in Saratoga, completed that. We're dealing with the tiny home people again, and I've sent emails to them as well here recently with no response on that end. So it's not due to the lack of us trying on our side. My staff upstairs is really good about getting messages and moving on their end to get things going on my end. So it's not, it's something that we try. We have meetings every week to see, how things are going, just to see if we're making sure that if people are calling, we want to make sure and return them calls.
Councilmember Singer?
So, we know everything we need to know about every one of these properties, whether they have liens, whether they have medical liens, whether they have IRS liens placed on them currently. And it seems to me until we know the value of all of them, ranking them doesn't make any sense. We can't know anything about them until we know whether they're encumbered in some way. Then from there, we have to know how much they're worth. Then we can go through the process of saying, okay, this one is this much money. We know where to start. And then we can go from there, because we're not in the land business.
No.
We're not in the home selling business. So as soon as we have value and we know what is legally we own, do we own the lien too? Because we might. So if we know that, then when someone comes to you and go, yeah, but this has a medical lien for $150,000 on it, we want to let you know in advance. So then they can make a decision about that. But right now, we don't know anything about any of these. We don't even know what they're worth. So it seems to me that we should start finding out, A, what's encumbered, and then B, what's its value. Whatever that process is before we start saying, okay, I think this is a great one. So do I. So the airplane one is also a great one. It's got a building on it, and property right next door. And that seems to be a big thing here. So that would be one I go, well, we know what we own. That's our property. That's an easy one to sell because you know what it is. How much is it worth? We don't know. So we need to know that before we can even move forward with saying, here's your list of the 10 greatest properties you could ever sell.
And we could do title searches on them to see what liens are on property. In fact, we deal with that every dangerous building we work on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd say 60% of our dangerous buildings, there's a medical lien on it. And we sit there with the building with this medical lien and nobody around to either pay that lien off or next of kin to say, you know, we'll pay, we'll talk to the medical company to see if we can eliminate this. We run up against that now with other properties in town that, you know, back in 2013, we were tearing down buildings, dangerous conditions, and they kept tally whether it was city's forces taking it down. We kept track of the employees, the equipment, the landfill fees. So that all got tallied up onto this bill, and that would sit with that property until one, they either sold it or, and as far as I know, they're still sitting that way.
Okay.
But that's something we could do, is do title searches. It's like $250 a pop for them.
As long as it's a complete, you know, the IRS, the
Right.
medical lien, regular bank lien, whatever you may have tied to that, if they know what they are. I mean, every once in a while you come back and they got nothing. It's just a building and somebody wants to give it away. They don't want to have it anymore because they got to pay taxes on it. They don't want to do that anymore. I get that. This is where we need to know that, so that if you've got a list and Kelly has his hand up and he says, hey, I want to buy that one, you have to be able to tell him everything about it so that he knows what he's getting into, so that he's not going to come out in the end going, you never told me that. You mean the $4 million medical lien? Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot that one.
Yeah, so with
So-
Councilwoman Lumen's, you know, we could pick 5, and city manager and council, we could do them searches on it. So we had that with that property. So if, say, Kelly does come and he wants to buy this property, he wants to buy the properties on Southside, at least we know that here's the clean bill of health for that property, and this is what it's worth, and take it from there.
Is there a checklist that you can give that says electric's here, water's here, sewer's here in relationship to where these properties currently sit? You can say, yep, here's your easement. This is what you will actually own. This is the space you'll actually own, including the alley, or, you know, stuff of that nature, so that it's very clear. This is what you're buying, this is what you're getting, this is what is encumbered. If we can have all of that, so that Kelly shows up and he goes, I like that one. So do I. So what do you want? What are you looking for? And then you can say, this is where the plumbing runs in here. Yes, it's already tapped. Yes, it already has that. Or, no, it's not tapped and there is no plumbing here.
Yeah, we could work on that with
Just a
legal stuff.
checklist of things that they can go through and go, yep.
And I know with utilities, we can get them guys to locate if there's anything there. So yeah, that's a checklist that we can put together, and I can get with legal on that to see if we can come up with the form. So we have that in place, and then what we can do is stick it in this book and show 1115 Higley. We know it's got water and sewer. We know they're paying the underground storage tank testing, and it's all right here, so.
Okay.
Kelly has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so let's say there's a piece of property I want, and it's got a lien on it, right? Let's say that lien's $150,000, but the property value's only $75,000. So I come to you and say, I'll pay the $150,000 on it, but you're gonna pay for all the closing costs when we go, but you're not gonna make any money on that piece of property. And the reason why is because that $150,000, you won't make that because the property value is only worth $75,000, but I'm willing to pay the extra $25,000 or $50,000 for it.
Kelly, that would be a decision that the council would have to make
Right.
as an entirety. But obviously, any presented offer is an offer, and we would treat it as such.
Right, because I'm just thinking, because there's probably some properties out there that if there's a lien on them, that the lien might be more than the value of the property. And that's when you guys got to say,
Yep.
hey, if this guy's willing to pay to get it off of our books and we start generating revenue off that property. That makes sense?
Yes. Councilmember Singer?
So it's people, process, and product. Yes, all of those things where you say, if you do these, I'll do that.
What's that?
where you say, if I clear the lien, you're covering X, that's a discussion that we need to have as part of the people process, product endpoint, where Lou says, okay, here's the lien, it's a medical lien, or an IRS lien, and then if I do this, then can you do this, this, and this? Well, he'll have that checklist of things that he's capable of doing, that he would bring to us to say, yeah, we can do that. But we would have to make that decision collectively here, and that would be something he would present. I would say just to have that conversation, what you're willing to do, what he's willing to do, because everybody's gonna be different. But it would make it easier for anybody who comes after you that might want to do the same exact thing. We've been down that road before. You've changed the head on that car already. You know how to do the other side. Does that make sense? So it's super simple. And that's what we need to get geared to, because we're not in the land business. So we're gonna have to have a very clearly defined process. So,
Any other council questions? I can't speak for everybody, but my thought is, I think taking 5 properties and starting with those and getting them through the lien investigation process would be a very good start. And then the developing of a checklist, that sounds like a good plan to me. Councilwoman Lumen?
And if there's any way we could have the Lawrence property on that list, because that's
Pardon me, I didn't hear you.
Lawrence property, have that on that list. Just because seems to come up a lot in the public arena.
And I know we've talked about rezoning that, so maybe get some type of plan together on what that looks like for us, and then we could present it to council. That'd be great, too.
Okay.
Vice Mayor Garner?
I'm curious, the ones that have showed interest in properties, have any of them wanted to rezone like the Lawrence property? Or do they want to keep it the zone that it is for the use that they need?
I think with the person that I did talk to, it would have to be zoned residential, either mobile home or R75 multifamily. But then we have to be careful with our spot zoning.
Right.
So I think the idea that this person had was a great idea, being across the street from the fairgrounds and putting several units up with that extension. Is what I would like to see is where the square is, but right by the yellow, right, that one, encompass that into the property next to it where the trailer court used to be, and have units there, and then do a property line adjustment with that, go down, with that line there, the black one there. Take that straight across to Harshman Street, and there's a house already on the hill there, so that would be its own lot. And then that new subdivided area with the part that the city has there would be sold to that individual.
Councilmember Seela?
Well, isn't that square right next to it, that's part of Lawrence property, isn't it?
Pardon me?
That square where the arrow is right now, that's part of the Lawrence property, isn't it?
It's 10.82 acres with that,
'Cause
that
it-
if you click on that, it shows Jack Lawrence on that.
Yeah, that's one of the parts
Right,
of
with-
the Lawrence.
With the survey corners that we did see, it goes from that corner and ties in all the way to the trailer court to the west. And just measuring them distances that was on the survey plat, it comes out with that, but I can double check that as well.
Councilmember Patterson?
According to the zoning map, the Lawrence property is zoned 2 different zones.
Yes, and that's where we run into that issue with,
It's industrial and then residential mobile home, according to this.
yes, and that's where we get into that spot zoning that I was talking about. So this is what we would be clearing up. We don't want to have, back in the day, whenever this was originally zoned as a residential mobile home or industrial, that was before spot zoning was an issue. We're trying to eliminate that, so if you come in and you want to buy a piece over on Lawrence property, it's an industrial, and then you say, I want to put a mechanic shop or tow yard down at the bottom, then we run into an issue, because that's R75. So there's a lot. The map does look good until you really sit down and look at it. Then you can see and depict where the different areas where we have problems, and we deal with them all the time. We're dealing with one now that is a residential multifamily, but it's a residential 7.5, which there's different setbacks and what you can do for accessory structures on that. So that's what we run into in our department as well. So, yeah, it's a headache for us, to put it mildly. And then when we get the people that come in and this is what they want, and we tell them they can't do it because according to the Red Book, this is what it says, then you get angry customers.
Council, or Vice Mayor Garner.
I was just gonna ask, when you build your list, can you, when you present it to us, can you show us the ones that have the most interest as well? So maybe they're not one that you want to put on the top 5, but maybe there's one that, like the old Come and Go building. I mean, there's been a lot of interest in that one. If it's not one that would be considered in the top 5, can we at least see what properties are being asked about the most?
Okay.
Just to, have an idea of what people are really searching for.
And I think the Come and Go building that's on the bypass, you get all that heavy traffic. So that would be, to me, that would be an ideal spot.
Right.
That would either be 1 or 2 for me, other than 619 West Spruce.
Yeah.
So it's one of them deals that I would look at it as most traffic. It's kind of a toss-up, because there you get the traffic coming off eastbound, heading on the bypass. You get everybody from the west going this way, going north. So it's probably a toss-up between the two.
I was just curious if there's any wild ones, like, the where you were showing us up by the tank, that big piece of property, if anybody's ever been interested, or if you get a lot of hits for it, but, how are you gonna
Nobody
develop
wants
that?
that.
So, I don't know, I mean, I'm just curious to see if
I think
there's
you
like
gave
a
that
way
away,
to see
you
what
wouldn't No, but we can work on that. We'll see what we can come up with.
That'd be cool to see, thanks.
Attorney Mayberry, you had something, right?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to get some clarification on how you would like this top 5 list. Is this something us objectively coming up with, or subjectively rather, or use our discretion and based on some of the questions, what has been the most interest, kind of heavy hitter areas, visibility, and then we would like a deadline, but a gracious deadline, because we also have a lot on our plate.
Sure. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's kind of a staff discretion. They know
Or
the
is this
properties
something
better for the first
that
5
is,
to
that would be
prioritize.
good to bring up for the strategic planning? So that there's council we
That
can
would be
present some, and
great.
then there's a vote by
Yeah.
council, hey, these are the top 5. And that actually may be a better approach.
I think that's a great idea. Kelly?
Oh, I was gonna ask, on these 26 properties, is there a way to get that out here to the publics? Because there's
I
probably
think
some.
that's our end goal, Kelly, yes.
Well, I mean, because I'd like to look at some of these, right? And how do I know which properties you have? How do I find out what properties you have besides the top 5 that I might be interested in? Okay.
Go to Lou
Go to
Yeah, the
Lou.
website, shouldn't it?
Oh,
Yep.
where'd you get that?
and the website.
Right
yeah.
there.
Okay.
But it's also right here, but it essentially lists what the zoning is, and then, when we come on our page, what we're looking at that same thing. He just went over the top of it,
Right, okay,
which is the entire list,
okay,
and it's every property right there.
okay.
So you can see what those are. Now, some of them won't make sense. Well, I guess they can make sense. Antelope Flats, 1 through 9 tract A, open space.
Yep.
There's this packet right here, I suppose we could just print this packet and then you can go to that page and go, oh, that's where that is.
Gotcha.
You can, you can look at it and go, I know that other building, I know what that one is, so that's gotta be right here.
Yep.
Because that's what I was doing.
Yeah, because that's something I want to look at, right, and other people.
If you go to the website with this meeting, all these documents are on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
they're
board.
there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can just print them all off.
Okay, I think,
And a
yeah.
lot of them are down there where your office is.
I know, right?
Kelly, can you pass that forward to this young lady?
I don't know who all read my email, but I've expressed interest in the lots on West Hugus and West State Street. I'm working towards developing that into a public fitness park. So it sounds kind of vague. It's like playground equipment, but more workout equipment. And I'm already working with a company, just hopefully. I plan on including a restroom area with like a small concessions area, and then fitness equipment for just regular weight building equipment. But then there are special equipments for, one's called active agers. So there's like physical therapy equipment that older people use. I mean, anyone who needs physical therapy, but also handicap accessible equipment. But this would all be for people 13 plus. And I just last Friday made a nonprofit to try to get funding for it, and I'm coming up with a few dead ends, but I'm still working towards it. So if that, I don't know if we would want to keep that public or like city land, or I don't know how we go about that.
I think that would be a great question for Lou. And so I did invite her to come to this meeting so she could learn about all the different properties we had. But I think that your next step would be to meet with Lou in community development.
Okay.
That'll go from there.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Sela?
There is 3 lots on one corner of Pershing and Hugus. They're school property, they're not ours.
The
Also,
corner one is school.
Yes, they're school. So if everyone's thinking that whole section's ours, they ain't, them 3 lots on the corner is
Just
school.
the one closest to the White
Yeah.
House.
But don't we have property, I believe it's 620 West Hugus? We have 2 lots there on the south side of the street.
I would have to look.
Got a garage on the back. I just wanted, they didn't show up there.
Yeah, no, when I highlighted the city of Rawlins, that wasn't there. So
Okay.
I can,
Yeah, I believe that's ours, and then the one, as you come out the underpass, on the right-hand side, ain't there one lot right there?
By the Schrobrins?
Right there. Is it Center Street, First Street, you come to there, on the corner there?
I thought that was all the railroad.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm looking for, see what I can, I'm trying to.
I just didn't see these show up on here, so I was just wondering.
Yeah, the ones I think that you're thinking on Hugo Street, 620.
Yeah, it's right next to that 2-story house and the trail house on the next lot. There's a little brick garage in the back.
Yeah, and I think that there was, I will let you know here shortly.
If it wasn't, we had lien on it, one or the other.
While you're looking up that, Lou, I just wanted to thank you for all this hard work. I know putting this book together was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, so thank you.
And that goes with staff as well.
Absolutely,
They
yeah.
all, it's just not a one-person show here. All my staff deserves the credit as well.
Yeah, and thank you, Lynn, for getting them formatted for TV.
So some of these might have to be rezoned just because of the square footage.
There's some that need to be rezoned because of the spot zoning too. So it's a big evaluation all the way across the board.
So 620 is owned by the guy that owns the big house behind that area? And
Yeah,
then
it's
there's
the
another
one, it's the one before it. To the
So that
east.
person owns that from Aurora, Colorado.
One to the east.
Yes, and that's off the county website.
And we don't have a lien on it? We tore the house down, so I know that.
There was an old brick house there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
tore it
yeah,
down.
some person from Aurora got that, so.
Okay, and then I thought you said something about the one there, as you come out the underpass wheel and that, on the corner right
Yes,
there. That one, I didn't see it show up on there. I just want to make sure we got everything on here that's
no,
ours.
and like I said, when we pull that up on the county side, we just put City of Rawlins, and we have to go through there and mark the ones off that aren't the city.
Yeah,
And when you blow it up, it's yellow all over, it seems like. So,
yeah,
yeah, I will look at that
Okay.
tomorrow.
okay.
All right, any final questions? Okay, we will adjourn until 7:30 for our regular scheduled meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you.
All right, it is 7:30. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lynn, will you do roll call, please?
Madam Mayor Jacqueline Wells,
Here.
Vice Mayor Darrell Garner,
Here?
Councilmember Derek Elliott,
Here?
Councilmember Tom Lumen,
Here.
Councilmember Terry Patterson,
Here.
Councilmember Steve Sanger,
Here.
Councilmember Bruce DeLaw.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, moving down to the approval of the agenda. Councilmember Sanger?
I move to approve the September 2nd, 2025 City Council agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the September 2nd, 2025 City Council agenda. Any discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Vice Mayor Garner.
One more click. There we go.
Councilmember Elliott,
It's not loading for me. Give me just 1 second, please.
Councilmember Patterson.
Mine didn't load either.
I did the
So-
refresh.
Okay. So,
I just refreshed and mine did not pop up either.
Yay.
thank you.
Derek Elliott, yay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas. Hold, just one more, this one more time.
It just came back up.
I know.
Okay.
It came up. I know.
It was weird. This was moving down.
And are you ready for the approval of the consent? Okay. Moving down to the approval of the consent agenda, Councilmember Patterson.
Make motion to move to approve the consent agenda of September 2nd, 2025 as presented or amended.
Second?
Okay. The motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda of September 2nd, 2025 as presented. Any discussion? And when you're ready, will you open online voting, please?
Madam Mayor, so my question is, the consent agenda for the accounts payables is almost $100,000 greater than last month. Do you know why that was?
Point of order. We're approving the consent agenda. That question should have been asked before we approved.
So it has not been approved yet, correct?
So that's what's on our screen right now is to approve it.
Yeah, but it hasn't not been approved.
Right.
So is the question able to be asked?
I would say, yeah, you can ask it, but do that prior to us even going to vote. When she says, is there any discussion, you're on.
Tried.
I didn't see him. I'm sorry.
Did you leave that out?
Huh?
Did you leave that out?
No, I just didn't see his hand.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, do you know why it was close to $100,000 greater than last month?
Oh,
That's what I said.
I don't know the answer, Councilman. I will have to get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now will you open online voting, Lynn?
Online voting is open.
Yay.
Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
Okay, moving down to citizens' participation, and this is a time for public comment set by resolution number 2C 1996, And it sets a time limit of public comment for 5 minutes, with the provision that 5-minute time limit may be increased at the request of a member of the public or any council members. And I do believe we have somebody here that plans to present. Was that Michael?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll invite you up first. Please state your name and sign in. And thank you.
Thank you.
All right, tell us about why you're here.
Yes. Well, number one, thank you for having me. And I am here to discuss a new business we have. It's Rawtown Local Grocers. I opened up June 1st here, and I kind of wanted to explain the model that I have a little bit. I know there's a little bit of misconceptions of what we're doing over there, and I kind of wanted to clear the air and just pretty much invite you guys over and see what your voters are having in the store. We have over 30 vendors locally here, a lot from Rawlins and several from outside the surrounding areas. Excuse me. And if you guys know any more vendors that want to create and sell any of their foods under the Wyoming Foods Cottage Law, we were able to, so please pass them on by. But in the store, I have local salsas, jams, jellies, homemade breads, just everything you would find in a local farmer's market that we have here 7 days a week, all year round for us. I believe it's important to shop local. The money that is generated there stays in Rawlins. It's all of our citizens, so it's just kind of almost like a pinball machine. The monies just keep rolling around Rawlins, and I believe that's a good thing. I really want that to continue a little bit more. And with your help in just coming by and just kind of posting a little bit and just getting the public a little bit more excited, I believe we can generate a little bit more revenue into the economy, just a little bit more. That's one section. The other section, and and it just started, so I'm slowly building on it, is I'm doing bulk foods. And more like a Costco in a sense, more bulk items, but I also have bin items as well that carry a lot more better organic products for you. Your blended gluten-free flours and whatnot. I believe that my little time here in Rawlins, I do realize that when the weather changes, we're pretty much at the mercy of it. So a lot of our local restaurants, I have big bags of flour, rice, beans, stuff that I am aiming to carry towards them to try to help them out in case Mother Nature calls again and we can't get product. I'm also starting to see a lot of the Continental Divide hikers. And some of the stories are amazing with these people. But we'll leave that for another time. But I am getting a lot of them in because I do sell things by the ounce. Just to help them streamline weight a little bit as they're carrying. And I believe it's just a wonderful addition to have here. Co-op feeds into the bulk food. The bulk food feeds into the owner and my real main passion, and that is creating a free food pantry. And that's why I'm here today. I want to let the council know that this is the passion project behind all this. Besides adding another revenue stream for our local residents here, that money's going to come in the end to help feed people. I am a 501(c) nonprofit, and I really, council, I just wanted to express that, and I'm fairly new, so I just wanted to let people be a little bit more aware of that. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
welcome to Rawlins. Is there anybody else that would like to make public comment on something that is not on the agenda? Okay, moving on to reports and information. And we have an update from the Rawlins-Carbon County Airport Board. And do we have a representative here to?
Did he miss it again?
No, we don't.
All right.
I have to give him a bad time.
Let's move down to the DDA and hub reports, and I will invite Pam Thayer up to tell us what's going on.
Hello, Madam Mayor and Council. Welcome to September. So I'm going to start with a funny FOCO story, which is Fort Collins. I think they call Fort Collins FOCO. So yesterday, even though the splash pad was splashing a little more in a cooler day, well, I guess yesterday wasn't cool. So I went out to just check on some stuff, and we had 3 different families with kids running around, all from Fort Collins. They all knew each other, but didn't know they were going to Rawlins, Wyoming, let alone downtown Rawlins, Wyoming. But they all 3 knew there were cool places to go and a splash pad to be at. I thought that was the coolest. I like went out and all of a sudden they're like, hey, and they're giving each other hugs. And I'm like, are you guys having family reunion? They're like, no, I went to high school with him. I haven't seen him in 15 years. Blah, blah, blah. It was the kind of coolest thing ever that all these people were stopping. One went to Teton, one was going to Idaho. Can't remember what the third was. It was just a really cool thing. And they all said, this is a great little town. We're going to be back. So love that, because we can say we have this to offer and this to offer, but our little splash pad was a hopping place yesterday. And of course I'm like, so we do know that Stems and Steam is open, and we do know that Good Day Tea House is open, and we do know, because they were hungry and they were stopping, the kids were playing. So anyway, so you guys are going to just start seeing me quarterly instead of every month, if that's okay, but my door is always open. So may I approach?
Sure.
Wanted to just get this out.
Thank you.
This is the big next event coming up, which is our Art Beat and Cowboy Fest on the Divide. I've mentioned this, but we are in collaboration and in conjunction with the Wyoming Junior and High School Rodeo. We have moved Art Beat event a week earlier. It's usually the first weekend in October, but they were so amazed last year that they came to Rawlins, Wyoming and got welcome bags and were so welcomed that they asked us if we would move the event a week ahead. And so we have put an amazing schedule together. We got a Wyoming Arts Council grant. We received Discover Carbon County. So we're working with about $12,000 to $15,000 for this event. We have some really cool things happening. Live music Friday night, live music on Saturday. We have a grand opening of the Great Divide Outdoors and Mimi's at the Blake. Kind of everybody's coming together. We've got Pumpkin Run, got a little bit of everything. So I just wanted you guys to know that, and I talked to the junior and high school rodeo people a little bit ago, and they're like, this is amazing. So again, just working together to make a win for our community, increase, and what I always say is cha-ching, cha-ching, letting those cash registers ring so we have more sales tax, so more things all come together. I wanted to give you a quick update on the things happening. We're going to have an AI class, and a 3-hour AI class for merchants and businesses to come to. We saw a contractor do an AI class down in Cheyenne earlier this summer, and I said, I want to take this class. I mean, it's how you can set up your Facebook, how you can do marketing, and it was amazing. And so we're looking into cost, and I think I have a sponsor to pay for that. It would be open to anybody, and we might just have it at the Depot or the Jeffrey Center, depending on how big, but it would be no charge. And it really just shows how you can use AI for small businesses for marketing. And then Jim Drever from SBDC, Small Business Development Center. After 17 years, he's getting promoted to Assistant State Director, but he's been our SBDC representative for over 17 years here in Albany and Carbon County, and he's getting a promotion, so we will be getting somebody new. So we had a SYOB, Start Your Own Business class. We always kind of do them at the end of the year, so when people think through the holidays they want to start a new business. So we're kind of going to see what's happening. He's going to cover till his replacement. And then lots going on with the Wyoming. We're possibly moving forwards with trying to make that safe. And then also the Ferguson will have a full presentation. We did send in the final requests to change some things on the feasibility study, and then we'll get it out to you guys to look at it. And then also on the Ferguson, the state is going to come in and do the remediation for lead paint and asbestos. And so we're trying to get a date on that. So lots going on those properties. And the last thing is the board of directors, and I don't have another board of director with me tonight. I thought there was going to be one here, but they would like to invite the city council. We used to do this every 2 years, to look at your calendars on October 13th. That is a Monday night, and they would like to cook you guys dinner, or at least have dinner brought in. I don't know what they're going to do. But then sit down, and you guys can ask as many questions about projects, about how we are a statute organization. And so like I said, we used to do this every other year. And so if October 13th would work for all of you on a Monday at about 5:30, we would love to invite you to the the Business Innovation Hub, do a tour, which is a grant project, and just really have a really cool talk about what we're planning for the next 2 to 5 years, but also for you guys to really understand how DDA works in conjunction with the city. Any questions? Okay, lots going on.
Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
All right, moving over to the city manager and staff reports. I'll pass it over to you, Chief.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and honorable council. Let me just start with Councilman Elliott, partial answer to your previous question. About 25 grand or 25% of that difference is capital expenses. I'll get you a more complete answer in the near future.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Community Development Director Lou Lascano has completed interviews for the open position of administrative assistant in his department. Selection will be made shortly. This Friday, Pam Thayer and I and Bev Hannum and the finance director from Riverton will be interviewing candidates for finance director here in the city of Rawlins. I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to bring it up again. On Thursday, September 18th, from 9 to 12, there will be the city staff cleanup on I-80. We're going to be meeting at Fire Station 2 at 0900 in the morning. We'll have a safety briefing for about a half hour, hand out gear. We'll be out on I-80 between the 211 and the 215 for about 2 hours. Then we're going to meet back at Fire Station 2 and have lunch. Love to see any of you who could make it join us. It's actually an event. We do it twice a year, and in the 4 years I've been here, I actually enjoy it. It feels good. Look at the bags of trash that we bring. Last week, the outdoor shooting range had new internet connection installed by our IT contractor. They needed that out there for when they use charging devices for different events that they have. So that's up and running. Community Development Director Lou Lascano is going to be attending a grant writing seminar in Cheyenne on September 4th and 5th. And last week we met with our IT contractor and began discussing the replacement of our city servers and the computers that are used by the city employees that need the Windows 11 upgrade.
Great.
Any questions?
I think maybe Pam might have something. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
One more thing on that short, quick list I put together for the acting city manager. $75,000 went to Software Solutions, which was an annual payment for our new software. So that's the biggest chunk, is the $75,000 to Software Solutions was paid. That is a large portion of the $100,000.
Any other 25% or 25,000 would be capital expenses.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, city attorney report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Honorable Council. Just a couple of short updates. With the Edenburg project, so by way of background, there have been some questions about the authority and what's the scope of this project. The Edenburg project from Dunvale to Murray was approved by ballot in 2019 for the 6th penny tax. So that's the background on that. The bids for the construction will be open next week, and I've been in close discussions and with the engineers on the project. to make sure the city has authority and and with all the contracts to be in place before the project, as soon as the project is awarded. Franchise agreements, so these are still in play. There's 5 different franchise agreements that are in progress. I am working diligently with outside counsel on 5 separate agreements with 4 different providers. CenturyLink and Charter are operating under expired, albeit holdover agreements, and All West and Visionary are new players into the arena who want to bring, primarily their objective is to bring fiber and additional internet services. However, in order to get in, they have to go through either cable and or telecom. And although cable and telecom are kind of old news now, that's not a big thing. That is how they gain entree into our system. While it sounds great, there's additional considerations that need to be very carefully scrutinized in how we do these things, because bringing a new service providers into town, while it's great to have competition, it's not good for our infrastructure because it goes in through our right-of-ways, and as we are crafting these agreements, we need to be very cognizant of our delicate infrastructure and to make sure, trying to build in also, we have a hole open at one time, that's when everybody goes in, rather than multiple holes all the time.
Right.
Any questions?
Councilmember Elliott?
I have concerns about the Edinburgh project being done this year. Once the contract is awarded or the vendor selected to do the work, how long is it before they start the project?
Unfortunately, I can't answer that directly, but I believe Cody Dill, the Public Works Director, may have some insight.
Honorable Mayor, Council, when we had our initial bid meeting with the contractors, they would really like to start project as soon as possible if notice to proceed is given to them. So they look at this as a winter project that they can do and work all winter long. So they will be looking at trying to complete all the underground work throughout the winter time, and then starting with the streets and sidewalks by summer next year. And the project is a 255 working day project. So we're shooting to get it done by the end of next summer.
Will this affect the Washington Street project for next year?
We don't have a Washington Street project slated. There is one on the six-penny ballot. We will look at any six-penny funds that are left over after this one to put towards that as the next six-penny project, if that is what council would like to see.
I was under the impression Edinburgh was being done this year and Washington Street was being done next year. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, moving down to city council updates. Councilmember Elliott.
So I seen that Martinez Park was on that property that the city owns, but that could be sold. Is that my understanding? Well, is that correct?
It was a piece of, it was adjacent to the park. It wasn't
Okay.
an actual park.
Okay,
That would stay Martinez Park. It was a property close to
okay.
the park, if that makes sense. To the east. Yeah, to the east. Thank you for directions.
I believe the clerk is pulling it up right now to show you.
Okay.
Oh, only if you want me
While she's doing that, another question that I have, so I've started a new endeavor in town, and a lot of the properties are not numbered. Residential properties are not numbered. Their numbers are not clearly marked on their residence. So if an emergency happened, it would be time wasted to intervene in somebody's health or safety issue. Is there currently an ordinance for displaying your house number that would be visible during the day and night?
With a little bit of grace and some time, I'm happy to answer that question, but I'm unable to do so at the moment.
Sure, that's okay.
to. Thank you.
And then the next thing I had is the Bolton Park, were the doors put on the men's restroom?
Honorable Mayor, Council, the doors are on order. We're working on getting those installed soon.
Okay. The cemetery, the curtains, they're still not replaced.
We actually have the PO back into the company. I think they're actually making them, and we are in process right now with getting those curtains up, yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're just waiting on the company to get back with us. They're going to be doing the install as well, so.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other, Councilmember Patterson?
I'm gonna bring up a topic everybody likes hearing. The Lawrence property. Are we gonna do anything with the old junk cars or anything up there? I've had numerous people interested in stuff like that up there. Are we gonna scrap it, sell it?
Honorable Mayor and Council, we do have, we did get a bid back, and that'll be brought up to the next council meeting for scrapping vehicles.
So are we gonna scrap them all, or are we
scrapping
gonna
them
do
all.
anything that, because there's some things that people are interested up there.
Yeah, and then if you look at these, and I've talked to a few collectors, to the collectors, there's valuables up there. But a lot of these vehicles are, my personal opinion, are beyond being collectible or parts, because a lot of them are banged up. A lot of them got dents where you wouldn't think they had dents, and I know a lot of this stuff can be fixed, but we look at if we go and allow people up there, the city owns that property, so if somebody gets hurt, then the city's on the hook for that.
I just know at one time we were talking about scrapping and maybe bidding out on stuff.
Yeah, and talking to City Manager Sarvey, after visiting with him on that, there again with people allowed to go up and get the vehicles that they wanted, or somebody get hurt or damage our vehicle, where does the city lie with that liability?
A lot of them didn't have titles, was that correct?
Right, and we did have the PD go down and they did the VIN checks on them, so we have them as well.
Any other updates? Oh, go ahead.
If I may answer Councilmember Elliott's question, they're in Title 12, Chapter 28 are the house numbering ordinances, and house numbering is required under our municipal ordinance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Patterson?
Does it have to be illuminated? Because Derek said something about it, and I'm going, I don't ever remember that on the books.
So, Honorable Mayor and Council, in the IFC, the International Fire Code, they're required to have 4-inch letters, half-inch width, and visibility should be visible from the street side. So yes, sir, there's requirements in the International Fire Code.
Okay. All right. Moving down to unfinished business and in ordinance amending Rawlins Municipal Code, Section 2.04.010. Councilwoman Lumen?
I move to approve the third and final reading and waive the reading of an ordinance amending the Rawlins Municipal Code, Section 2.04.010, governing city council meetings.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve third and final reading and waive the reading of ordinance amending Rawlins Municipal Code, Section 2.04.010, governing city council meetings. Any discussion? All right, Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. Okay, I'm gonna reopen this because this did something really weird again. So let me just reopen again. Because it kind of showed up everybody was not present, so I'm not really sure
where we went.
Maybe
Where
I'm not
everybody
here.
went, I
I'm not
wasn't
getting-
touching anything. Okay, so with, online voting is open, so please vote.
Yay.
Okay, so online voting has closed. The motion passes with 6 yeas and 1 nay. The 1 nay was Councilmember Seeloff.
Okay, moving down to new business and a ratification to approve an FAA grant for the airport improvement project, number 35, or 3560023026026-2025. Councilmember Singer?
I move to ratify the FAA grant for Airport Improvement Program Project Number 3-56-0023-026-2025 at the Rawlins Municipal Airport, Harvey Field, City of Rawlins, Carbon County, Wyoming, for rehabilitation airport rotation beacon and construction perimeter fencing.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to ratify the FAA grant for the airport improvement project number 3560023-026-2025 at Rawlins Municipal Airport, Harvey Field. Any discussion? Councilmember Singer?
We're ratifying, so that means we're after the fact.
Yes.
Okay. This came in July 25th, and it had to be approved by August 30th. We had meetings during that time. Why wasn't it?
Correct. It went to me and only me, and it inadvertently went to the wrong email for Panita.
Okay.
And so it was something I thought that the city staff was aware of,
Okay.
and they were not. So that's why we're asking to ratify.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Lynn, will you open online voting?
Online voting is open.
Yay.
Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
Okay, moving down to an ordinance approving first reading and waiving the reading of ordinance pursuant to Rawlins Municipal Code, Chapter 1980, amendments in Section 1916, 2020 zoning map. Councilwoman Lewin?
Move to approve the first reading and waive the reading of an ordinance pursuant to Rawlins Municipal Code, Chapter 19.80. Amendments in Section 19.16.020, zoning map, changing the zoning classification from residential R-7.5 to commercial transitional C-2 for 12 parcels bounded by Spruce Street to the north and the municipal boundary to the south and between 23rd Street and 19th Street.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the first reading and waive the reading of ordinance pursuant to Rawlins Municipal Code, Chapter 1980, amendments in Section 1916, 20 zoning map. Councilmember Singer?
So Lou, this is just a question about whether some of the concerns that the gentleman had from our last meeting, whether we were able to address some of those ones with dust and other stuff.
Madam Mayor and Honorable Council, this is some paperwork that was forgotten on the first reading. So we're basically starting with the first reading on this one. The gentleman that was here, once we start with the passing of this to the C2, Mr. Newman's back here, we were discussing the requirements for C2 areas. So we're going to work together with Mr. Newman and the other gentleman that was had concerns. So that way everybody is treated the same.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. Lynn, will you open online voting, please?
Online voting is open. County voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
Thank you.
All right. With no further business that needs to be brought before the council, we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 8:04 p.m. We will have another meeting on September 16th, 2025, and then an additional special work session on September 26th at 8:30 a.m. And then we're going to have a strategic planning goal setting meeting September 27th, and that'll be at the Hampton Inn. All right. Thank you, guys.